Hi guys, welcome. Are we recording? Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be sharing all of my thoughts. It's back to front. Where I'm going to be sharing all of my thoughts on this new mini Starlette palette from Natasha Denona. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we have the mini Starlette palette from Natasha Denona, her latest 5-pan mini-sized palette. All 5 shades in this palette are repeats and available in previous palettes from Natasha Denona. Nude Mauve is featured in Lila and the Retro Midi. Galaxia is featured in Star and the Mini Retro palette. Vega is featured in Star, and also Rhea is also featured in Star, and then Per Se is featured in the Lila palette. So all 5 previously available shades. And this mini is priced the same as all of her others, with £24 or $27 being the price point. I think a lot of people were quite surprised how this actually looks in real life. I posted my natural daylight swatches on my Instagram, and everybody was very surprised at how different it looked to the promo photos. So that was either good news or bad news depending on what you thought and what you wanted. A lot of people were really happy that it was more neutral than it appeared, or more brown than it appeared, versus being really mauvey and pinky. And a lot of people who thought it was going to be really mauvey and pinky were really happy about that, were very disappointed that it was actually a bit more neutral than they thought. So a divisive little reveal, those swatches. So I have already used this once, and I was definitely expecting something more mauvey, and it definitely turned out much more neutral, like everyday soft glam, than I expected it to. But I really like the look that I came up with, so I'm kind of in two minds. Do I kind of wish it looked more like the promo photos? A little. I think that would have been slightly more unique to my collection and what I already have. But is this an excellent neutral palette that's in a very nice travel size, condensed little number that will do a beautiful look that I really love? Yes. So let's have a look at the tutorial and actually see these shades and how they look on the eye, because swatches can be deceiving. So let's jump into it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Vega, this sort of peachy shade in the middle, the matte. It is a very subtle shade on me. It's not really doing a lot for me on my skin tone, but it is sort of laying down a nice transition shade. This is one of her creamy mattes, so it is, I think, a little less vibrant colour-wise than it looks in the pan, which I think is typical of this formula. They kind of always look a little intimidating in the pan, particularly sort of brighter shades or richer shades, and then actually on the eye they're usually much softer. All 3 of the mattes in here are her creamy matte formula, so that's either good news or bad news for you depending on how you feel about that formula. I like it, but a lot of people do not. Okay, so next we're going into this sort of most mauvey shade, Nude Mauve, and my Rephr 01, and I'm just going to pack that on the outer third and buff it into the crease. This is just such an easygoing palette. There was one slight little that happened yesterday that I wasn't super happy about, but we'll get to that in a moment. The mattes in here are beautifully creamy, soft, easy to blend, easy to build, beautiful blendable shades. Really, really beautiful. I love this creamy matte formula. I know some people don't, but I am not one of them. And I think this look is just, it's just exactly what I love my eyeshadow to do. Pretty neutrals just make my heart happy. Okay, and then finally the richer, more purple matte Rephr 33. Must remember to tell you which side did I put it on. Must remember to tell you the name of my brushes. And I'm basically doing the exact same thing that I did with that previous shade, where I'm just lightly adding this into the crease and on the outer third. I don't want to go too smoky. I don't want this to be too deep. I just want a little bit of definition between those 2 shades. But again, all 3 of these mattes are just a dream. Blend like a dream, build like a dream. Easy to work with, no fallout. Nice smooth mattes. Okay, so now using my Sonia G builder and the first metallic Rephr from that Star palette. New shade to me. I think in the pan it looked a bit more coppery, but I think on the eye it's a bit more of like a rose gold, which I really like. Very pretty shade. No real fallout. This is one of her metallics. Really nice buttery metallic, nice and pigmented, nice and shimmery, but not too sort of sparkly and fallout prone. And I'm just going to go back to my Rephr 01 and a bit of that nude mauve shade. Blend those two together so there's not a really harsh line between the metallic and the matte. And finally, I'm going to use my Rephr 21 with this little number, Galaxia. And this is the issue that I had with this palette yesterday. I do own this shade in the mini retro, and I had the same issue with it then. It's one of the, is it the crystal shadows? The K, I think that stands for crystal, right? The formula. I'm using it better today because I remember what happened yesterday. I'm using a small amount and I'm sort of pushing my brush into the pan and sort of pressing this into the lid. Yesterday I went in blind and stupid and I like sort of, you know, got a decent amount on my brush quite loosely and then I just sort of started whacking it on the lid and I got so much fallout. It was quite the mess. So then today I've learned, okay, every day is a school day here. So now I'm just using it with a bit of a firmer hand and I'm really not experiencing the same issue. I'm sure there are a couple of specks, like with most shimmer shadows, especially those that are more impactful, like this one, you know, a bit more sparkly. But because I'm just using it a bit more sort of firm, a bit more pressure onto the lid, I'm pressing it into the lid as opposed to just sort of dusting it on, and that was a mess. Just going to go with my finger. That would also be a good way to avoid mega fallout, or a damp brush if you are that way inclined. You know, do whatever makes you happy. But such a pretty shade and such a beautiful combination. I'm just going to finish off with my Rephr 26. I'm going to use that nude mauve shade under the lower lash line. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a close-up of the eye look before I go in with mascara, which is going to hide some of it, but I just think this is so pretty. I do think overall you're getting a little bit of a rosy gold hint from that Rephr shade, but overall this is a pretty neutral, slightly mauvey palette, I would say. I definitely think on the eye it is going to end up just looking a bit more neutral than it is really mauvey or pinky as people might have expected. But still mega beautiful shadows. Okay, let's add some of the Benefit Fanfest mascara. Okay, and here you have the final look with a little coat of mascara. What do you guys think? I think it's so pretty. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this eye look. I think it's like wearable and understated and soft, but in such a pretty, eye-catching way. Gorgeous. Okay, so this, wrong way around. What is wrong with me today? It's Monday, what can I say? This little mini Starlette palette from Natasha Denona. Do you already have some neutral eyeshadows in your collection? I'm almost certain that we all do. But I will say, having used this twice now, I think this is my favorite ever 5-pan from Natasha Denona. I just think it's a bit more impactful than the other like neutral 5-pan or mini palettes that I have. I have mini Nude and I think mini Glam, I can't remember, but there's a few that are sort of a similar like neutral soft glam kind of color story. This is my favorite of all of them. I just think with the combination of all the shades, it's a little more special to me. I think it's so pretty. It's just exactly what I like. I love that we've got 3 creamy mattes. I love that we've got kind of a more metallic, smoother shimmer, and then we've got a really sparkly glittery shade. I think the overall look is just so pretty and wearable, and it's just the exact type of eyeshadow look that I personally love. So for me, this is a big hit and I absolutely love it. There was a bit of a fallout issue from Galaxia, but typically I do my eye makeup first, so it's not a big deal breaker for me. Everything else blended beautifully, looks beautiful, and the combination I just think is glorious. I absolutely love this little mini. Of course I have a lot of neutral eyeshadows, but I do appreciate the travel friendly aspect of these minis and just the cohesiveness. Not everyone has the space or the inclination for, you know, 25 giant big palettes. So I think if you're trying to keep, you know, a more makeup bag amount of makeup and you don't have a lot of storage space, or you travel a lot for work, or you do your makeup on the go a lot, like I used to do my makeup at my desk a lot, you know, so I think it has a lot of homes that will appreciate this little mini. I think if you were looking for something really mauvey or really pinky, I think you will be disappointed that this is much more neutral than you probably thought, more brown. But I think it's beautiful. As far as the performance and the look, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's just if you wanted something more purple, mauve, pink, it's definitely more neutral than perhaps the promo photos suggested, which is a common problem at the moment. I wish brands would just like show us what the products actually look like so we can make an informed decision. But you know, controversy aside, this is literally my cup of tea. Absolutely down to a T, exactly what I love my eyeshadow to look like, and the colours that I love in a little ditty travel friendly size. So I love it, and I think it might be my new favourite mini from Natasha Denona, which was a real pleasant surprise. I just thought it was going to be meh. I just watched the Emoji Movie, can you tell? But I really like this. I think I'll get a lot of use out of it. It's very, very wearable. It's perfect for every day, and yeah, big fan of the formulas. So I'm a happy bunny. Please let me know which camp you fell into when you saw the actual swatches of this and what it looked like in reality. Were you pleasantly surprised or devastatedly disappointed because it was not quite what we thought it was going to be? Have you picked this up? How have you got on with it? What are your thoughts? Please let us know in the comment section down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.